Welcome back, you PetaPixel party animals. Chris Niccolls here, and today we're going to address something that keeps coming up over the years, and that is a request for cameras that don't have video. Why am I paying more for a camera that has video? Well, we are going to address that today. We're going to give you our top picks for our favorite camera in each brand that either don't do video or don't make any compromises for video. Okay, but first, a word from our sponsors. You guys should check out KH.com because let's say you absolutely want a camera with zero video capabilities. I mean, maybe you're looking for a Canon EOS 5D original or a Nikon D70 or even something modern like the Nikon DF, Sony A900. I mean, the list goes on. And you know they're gonna have all those cameras available for you, and they're gonna always tell you exactly what condition they're in. They're gonna give you a generous return policy in case you decide you do want to shoot video. And even if you get that camera and you're shooting photography and something goes wrong, their warranty is going to cover you for 180 days, if not longer. Or maybe you've got a camera that shoots hybrid photo and video today, and you're like, I'm sick of having video on here. I don't want to see this camera anymore. I want it out of the house. Well, rather than meet some shady videographer in a back alley and sell your camera to him, why not just send it into KH.com? You're going to get a fair price. There's not going to be any hassle. You're going to know exactly what's going to happen before you send it in, and that's going to get you that trade-in bonus for that camera that doesn't shoot video. So check out KH.com for all of your used camera needs. That's why we love them. That's why they're PetaPixel's official pre-owned camera gear partner. Okay, so unlike the KH ad, we're not gonna be talking about retro or classic camera stuff. I mean, we are gonna be talking about current production model stuff that you can buy today. And some of these cameras won't have video, some of them will have video, and that's just the way it is. But I think you'll find this video interesting because we're giving you our pick for what cameras from each brand actually cater to the photographically minded individual. And so all joking aside, I think you're gonna find this very interesting and very useful, and there are some important revelations that we get out of this as well. Okay, so let's start things off with Fujifilm. It's the X-T5. A camera that was made specifically for photographers. So the 40 megapixel sensor that's in this, it's not ideal for video. I mean, it's high megapixels, a little bit slower readout speed. Fujifilm first started with an XH2 camera using this sensor, and that was definitely more of a full-fledged hybrid camera. And then they specifically made a more affordable camera with more analog style controls, the X-T5, specifically to please the photographic community. You weren't getting as good video features, but you were paying less money and getting something that was definitely more geared towards photography. You could also even look at the Fujifilm X-T50 as an alternative. Okay, but I know that last camera did technically have a video mode, so let's go to a camera that has no video whatsoever. We're gonna go to a Leica M11D specifically. We're gonna talk about that just a bit, but first a bit history here. Leica do make plenty of cameras that have really nice video capabilities. I mean, that's not really the case there, but when it comes to the M series rangefinder, they've largely avoided video. In fact, the M240 was the only camera of theirs in the M series rangefinder lineup that did have video, and all you guys were like, that, like, no, you're burning your M240s in the streets, and like, then you're like, wow, that was really expensive. That was probably a really big mistake. And so then after that, the M10, the M11, no video features whatsoever. But if you're looking at your M11 rangefinder and you're saying, oh, this LCD panel is kind of giving me a video feed, I don't like it, that's why the M11D is made for you. No LCD screen whatsoever on the back, no video feed to worry about. It's as close to analog as you can get while still shooting digital photos. Okay, let's talk about Sony next, and it's hard to find a current production model that doesn't have good video. I mean, they all do have a hybrid capability to them, but there is definitely one model that's suited for photographers over anything else, and that's the Sony a7R5, a personal favorite of mine. There's a couple points I want to touch on here. So it has an excellent 60 megapixel sensor, great for photography, big prints, you know, lots of cropping potential, but for video, it's actually not ideal. First off, that high resolution means that when you want to shoot things like 8K, there's a heavy crop. If you want to shoot 4K, you can do it, but with heavy subsampling, you lose a lot of detail. Also, the rolling shutter is pretty vicious on that because it's a fairly slow readout speed on the sensor, so you get lots of jello effect and stuff when you're shooting video. The other thing is this, fully articulating LCD panels. I like them, Jordan likes them, a lot of video hybrid shooters like them, but photographers tend to hate them. They want something more simple, just for low to the ground or above a crowd kind of stuff, and the A7R5 features a brand new LCD panel design that lets you not only fully articulate, but if you don't want to, you can even super glue it shut. You could then just have tilt. Okay, next let's talk about OM System. You know that I love their cameras. I use them for work. In fact, I use them as video hybrid shooters for Bow River trout fitters. But the fact of the matter is, our main criticism about all the OM System cameras is always video. I mean, even from the Olympus days where the video wasn't very good, OM System never improved upon that. I mean, Their video tends to be quite soft. The OM1 does give you a little bit of a benefit if you shoot log, but not everybody wants to shoot with log as a recording mode, and so you're kind of relegated to fairly soft looking quality video. And you know, the one that I would choose for photographers would be the OM1 Mark II, because that is their latest, and they had some nice improvements to things like autofocus performance, and what they specifically did not improve was video in any way, shape, and form. So get yourself an OM1 Mark II, that's the best choice for photographers. Okay, time for another prestigious company, very expensive cameras. Let's talk about the Hasselblad X2D. Now Hasselblad, this is another interesting parallel to Leica, where they did kind of play around with the idea of putting video in their cameras. The X1D did shoot video. It wasn't very good at all, and then everybody's like, never again, don't do this to our cameras, and they listened. So the X2D, no video mode whatsoever, no way to accidentally slip into video mode, no way to even find it buried deep in the menu. It doesn't exist. And as a photographic camera, I mean, this is very good. 100 megapixel sensor, tons of detail, beautiful glass, I mean, easy enough to carry, portable, all these good things that a travel photographer might want to get the best image quality. And we're gonna start to see some other parallels with some of the other high megapixel sensors. 100 megapixel sensors are great for photography, but there's too many compromises when it comes to video. Nikon, 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 you are disappointing us. I mean, all of your recent cameras are really geared towards hybrid video, and you're doing bitching quality video. The Z6 III is fantastic. The Z8, Z9, beautiful hybrid platforms. Luckily though, there's still a camera that's available that you guys can buy today that is made for photography, not videography, and that's the Nikon Z7 II. Now this has a 45 megapixel sensor, but it's not a stacked sensor like we see in the Z8, Z9, and therefore it gives us some advantages when it comes to photography and some disadvantages, yay, when it comes to video. Subsampled video, kind of soft looking. Photography though, it'll give you the best dynamic range out of any of their cameras right now in their current lineup. So if you're a landscape photographer who never wants motion pictures in any way, shape, or form, this is the camera for you. Get it before Nikon screws it all up and updates this camera. All right, guys, so we thought we could escape the wind here. We're not doing a very good job. You know who else can't escape? Canon, for starting this whole hybrid video mess in the first place, because I would argue that the 5D Mark II really started the trend, and now look where we are today. Canon have fantastic cinema cameras, the R5 Mark II, the R6 Mark II, capable video shooters, but did you know that you can still buy a Canon EOS R5 today? And that is still your best pick if you just want to focus on photography. To be fair, it actually shoots pretty good video as well, but not as good as the later stacked sensors do. Are you seeing a pattern here? Their older 45 megapixel sensor gives you decent dynamic range and good detail for photography. And if you want to engage video mode, good luck finding it. It's pretty tricky. First-time users just are stumped until you point out you got to go and hit the mode dial and then hit the info button. Well, there you go. Now you're in video, but you never need to worry about that because we hate video. Okay, I'm sorry, there's just no dodging the wind. My hair apologizes and so does the mic. But it's time to talk about Pentax, and this is for that one person out there that always comments Pentax Pixel in our comments. We see you, boo. We appreciate that, we really do. So Pentax is a great example of a company that has fantastic full-frame lenses, great photographic image quality, and they really don't do much with video. So our pick is going to be the K1 Mark II. They have more modern cameras like the K3 III. They're still not great for video, but you want to maximize that full-frame image quality for photography. The K1 II is incredibly rugged, fantastic for going out there and getting those beautiful landscapes and astrophotography. It's got that very cool LCD screen on the back, which is fantastic for photography, not very useful for videography, so there you go. And it only shoots 1080 video and it's not great anyways. So, Pentax, good on ya. I'm leaned over awkwardly on the fence here because I'm trying to use the wood to block the microphone so it doesn't billow in my shirt. It's not working very well, but we've saved the best for last, or maybe the worst for last, because we're going to talk about Panasonic, and they're the best for video and maybe the worst for photography. I mean, this is one company that has eschewed photography in favor of really high quality videography for many years now. And in fact, this is something that, all joking aside, I've actually lamented about quite a bit with Panasonic. I would like to see more photocentric cameras from them, and unfortunately, you have to look at quite an old model, the Panasonic S1R. Now the Panasonic S1R had actually a beautiful 47 megapixel sensor, a pretty decent multi-shot if you wanted to push that detail even higher. Well designed, very ergonomically comfortable, rugged body. You know, the back screen panel was not fully articulating. I know you guys love that, but unfortunately it's the oldest mirrorless camera on our list. It's even older than the original EOS R5. And this means it doesn't have any of the new benefits to tracking autofocus or even, you know, Panasonic's new hybrid phase detect autofocus. So I really want to see this updated. I know they're gonna make the video features way better on whatever they do update, but I hope they come out with something that's more made for photographers. Okay, so we're in the car because the wind is just crazy. How's my hair? Do I look old and crazy?
Yeah.
Okay, I look bad. Okay, so let's do our conclusion in the car. So, you know, the first thing that I want to address, we get a lot of these comments all the time about, oh, I wish my camera didn't have videography, especially because I don't want to be paying for features that I'm not using. And I totally get that. I think actually after doing this talk, I'm a little bit more sympathetic to the plight that's going on here. But one thing we can see is from our list that we've been talking about today, these cameras are not necessarily the most expensive in their lineup, but pretty close. I mean, you're paying more to get cameras that are based just for photography. And that's for a lot of reasons. I mean, first off, it doesn't cost more money to add video features in the manufacturing process. So especially in more affordable models that are for enthusiasts and mass market, why would you limit yourself that way? I mean, just make the camera do both. That makes sense. But also it comes down to technology. I mean, one thing that you'll find is that pretty much all the cameras we talked about today are using older sensors that aren't stacked sensors. And this actually in today's world still gives us advantages. Non-stacked sensors tend to give us better dynamic range. That's something that photographers want. Stacked sensors, on the other hand, tend to give us benefits like faster burst rates, better sports and action autofocus capabilities, and also better video, less rolling shutter, all that kind of stuff. And so you'll see this relationship where better videography kind of goes hand in hand with better sports and action cameras. But when you want to get raw megapixel counts and the best dynamic range, that right now in today's technology suits non-stacked chips better. Now, if you also look at the cameras that we talked about on our list, this is kind of related. They're all generally the higher megapixel counts in their camera versions. Like the X-T5 has the 40 megapixel APS-C sensor instead of the 26 megapixel sensor, which do better video. And we even went up to cameras that have 60 megapixels or 100 megapixels. And the fact of the matter is, higher megapixels is actually counterproductive to shooting video, especially the 4K video that most of us are shooting today. You generally have to throw pixels away. You got to bin them. You got to subsample them or have heavy crop factors in order to keep that video quality good. And that's just not ideal. And I just want to leave you with this last thought. I mean, the fact of the matter is, every single camera today is not only a photographic camera, but it is a video camera because it's outputting a video feed to the EVF and the back panel. Even the Leica M11D, which does not have a back panel, still outputs a video feed if you want to put the EVF on top. I mean, the fact of the matter is, they're all video-based cameras, but there are some differences with what technology we use, how high a megapixel sensor we go, and I hope you guys found that stuff very useful. Leave your comments below. We always appreciate that, including you, person that always says Pentax Pixel. We better see you on here. Check out our podcast. You know, we're going to talk about a lot of the stuff we're talking about today on there. Or, of course, listen to our show on all your favorite podcasting apps. Just search for PetaPixel Podcast. Check out store.petapixel.com for all of our merch. We'd appreciate your support there. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon with more on PetaPixel.